All right.
Anu, as you lower down and a crash of a Molotov breaks against the bottom, finally reaching the floor, and it spills across in front of you, uh, you feel like those current of like water come out, and it extinguishes like rather easily, and you see as like your light display of like affinity with water shores up the resolve of these other soldiers. You get lowered down towards the box level, and they don't even wait to get down to the floor level uh, as they immediately leap off onto each of these boxes, and you do as well. Go ahead and give me athletics or acrobatics.
Can I give me and Lib enhance ability for an hour?
Yeah.
Yep. So I'll do that.
Or
So we can sneaky sneak, and so I have that with advantage. Uh, I don't know what that was. Oh, Lord, I'm gonna channel divinity that. I'm pretty sure I only did this last time I'm doing channel divinity. Fuck. Okay, a little bit better, I guess.
all right. You land on the top of it, and I need you to go ahead and give me a stealth check.
This one with
Jesus.
advantage. So, 17.
Nice.
All right.
Something like that.
Uh, it lands easily, and kind of like at like a half sprint, looks back at you as you kind of also land a little bit stiffer. But the both of you plop off into one of these shadow kind of alleyways between two of these boxes, as the alley to your right lights up with the shadows lit from a Molotov crashing against something nearby. You hear the sounds of gunshots, and the two of you dip off into the darker shadows behind you, and you end up weaving your way through, heading in the direction of the cave open face. Uh, you manage to move pretty silently, not being noticed by the majority of the people that you come across. However, there ends up being a few key locations blocked off by pretty much city streets almost of these boxes, rows of them stacked up, often forming walls that uh, impede your path and block your way forward. Many of these have been taken up as vantage points. And as you make your way through, trying to pass through that first one, you realize going around it's going to cut a lot of time away from it. Uh, but going, and if you were to go around every single one of these on the way there, there's no way that you're going to be able to make it there within that time.
Mm-hmm.
And you avoid as many as you can, moving quietly. But even moving silently comes with its own speed restriction,
Yeah.
and uh, it's quicker than getting in a bunch of fights, though. And so, as you make your way through and come across a couple of these barricades, I need you to go ahead and make me uh, 7 uh, individual rolls. Now, you could do this with spell slots, or you could do this with a cantrip, and a cantrip can either do a attack roll or a saving throw for it
I
to
only
work.
got
Right, something
saving
that
throw
does damage.
ones, so Yeah.
Okay. And with each one, if you were to want to use a spell on it,
Mm-hmm.
you could also do an insight check to determine how difficult of a fight that's going to be, equaling essentially what level of a spell slot it would take to not take damage.
All right. Well, she's gonna do oh shit. She only has cantrips with the DC save, and for right now, I don't think she'd want to. She might one or two use some spell slots, but for right now, she's just gonna do cantrip.
All right. And what's your save DC?
That one is, I think it's should be a should be a 16. Yeah. She's gonna, yeah, it's gonna probably be her go-to would be wisdom or con.
Okay.
So,
Wisdom?
yeah, might as well.
All right. Oof. Yeah, that is not working. All right. You managed to get through that first one relatively easily. Um, like they didn't see it coming, and they're as you were making your way through, mostly talking about like scouting units they hadn't heard back from the fights. They can hear getting closer. The gunshots are behind you, almost like a thunderous like storm. Every once in a while, like the blast and explosions happen intermittently between this deafening silence. And when it comes, it's a little bit closer than it was before. And it's a little bit closer than it was before. And you can hear the tension kind of building in the silence that happens in between each of these thunderous waves of gunshots and explosions. And the guards, as you're going through that first barricade, are mostly caught up in intense worry about it. So that by the time they realize they're getting attacked, they don't know how to react. And you clear past that without taking any damage.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you get to the next one. Go ahead and give me another stealth check.
Okay. Stealth. 21.
All right. Coming up on the next one, you managed to get him really quiet. And as a result, you managed to get fairly close. And you know this one's a bit harder. Get some heavier guns here. Seems they set a Gatling gun up at the top, and they're pretty ready for whenever that thunderous wave comes their way. That they're gonna rip through every single box in the line ahead of them. Uh, you could very well sneak past them with that roll, actually. Um, but you also know that they're probably going to do a fairly large amount of damage to these people here. You also know that a cantrip isn't going to get you out of here uh, without taking any damage.
Yeah,
It would reduce the amount of damage you take, but it's only going to half it.
I know. Yeah, she's looking at that gun. She's kind of feeling her fingers tingle a little bit. She goes over. She glances over
It's
to.
heavy. It's mounted, by the way. So
Yeah.
the thing's like a good 50 pounds.
So if I spiritual weapon the box underneath it.
Oh, and the box that it's standing on is one of the big, like 20
Yeah.
by 20 sized crates.
Okay.
They're almost like little buildings rather than boxes.
So
It's perched on the top of it, almost like like on the top of a rooftop of like
yeah,
an
yeah.
adobe tile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's fine with taking a little bit of damage, but like her mentality would be if she uses a spell slot and I have it being spiritual weapon, can she try to see eventually throughout if she can at least destroy, like, kind of mess up the trajectory of
Yeah,
this
the
thing?
spiritual weapon. What level was that spell
It's
slot?
a second.
Okay, yeah, that you know, the idea comes to you, and as you cast it actually underneath inside of the box that's there, and
Mm-hmm.
it breaks through the wood and with an attack on that, and the whole gun collapses down into the bottom. By the time they realize that that's happened and it's just shattered into the inside of that box, that spiritual weapon just cuts through everybody that's there. It's rough. There were about 30 people inside of this kind of setup here, this barricade, and several of them were pretty like armored, and uh, yeah, this was not an easy fight, but they were not prepared for something like that.
Okay.
As it kind of cut through, you can almost like imagine watching your ancestor go through the same exact motions with that same weapon
Mm-hmm.
uh, training routine.
Yeah.
For a brief moment, the spiritual weapon in your mind isn't there, held alone. It's being held, and you watch as he goes through each of those things like simple practice. You take no damage.
Yep.
Um, as you approach the third one, I need you to give me another stealth check.
19.
All right. uh, as you approach on this one, I also want you to give me a perception check.
Okay.
You managed to move slow enough that no one's noticed you coming ahead, um, and you've gotten in a little bit closer and quieter than they've expected. Um, but uh, as you're kind of like tagging in close behind them, you don't realize that they've uh, got something rigged on the top of the box above you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and as they clear out the other side, uh, uh, you realize that the some of these places cutting in between like the rows of boxes are just boxes facing the other directions,
Mm-hmm.
right? With like no open end, created almost like tunnel ways between them. And you were passing between or through one of these, right? Following in the shadow of a couple of these that you figured were going to be able to lead you through one of the side safer alleys. Instead, you're being led through a trap. And you see as these urns filled with uh, suddenly drop around you and light up, and flames suddenly start to go around everything around you.
Okay.
Now, you can make me a dex, or you could use some magic if you have anything available for this.
I do have Douse as a cantrip, but if I use Fog Cloud, would that be able to dampen the flames? Like, I'm not too sure what
Um,
like
no,
something about.
not in this particular case. It's too hot on it.
Okay.
But Dallas as a cantrip actually does work. It's enough to be able to clear you a path ahead,
Yeah.
but not enough to get rid of the this now burning crate. Uh, and as you exit out through the other side, smoke's kind of pouring out, and so you're obscured for this moment. And you kind of turn your back and you look in the other direction. You can see the flames of this are actually lighting all along this entire row.
Could
There's
I?
about to be a whole wall of fire
Yeah.
blocking the advance of the people. If this thing burns, you're going to be separated from the people
Yeah.
that.
I will control. I will shape. I will use create water and then shape water to try to get as much out as possible. If
All right.
that's
No, uh, that that works.
I'll mark that
You
off.
manage to shape and create this water, and it douses out across the flames of this before it spills down into the next crates. You dampen the path ahead of it, uh, cutting it off before it gets to it, and then the flames kind of burn themselves out into the smolder that collapses behind. And you know that it accelerated too quickly to be able to now spread to the rest of the place. Um, but you are now currently surrounded, and you see as several shots come in at you. I need you to go ahead and make me a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Oh boy. 5.
All right, you take. Oof. You take 26 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
Several bullets rip into you. Um, Looking there, they look fairly surprised that you're still alive. And you realize that it's not a lot of people here. They actually abandoned this outpost,
Okay.
and it had only been made to look like it was being guarded. These are just the last people left to help spring this trap. There's only a handful of them. And cantrip roll from you. You're doing a wisdom saving throw, right?
Yep.
Uh,
So, got
you
wisdom.
fail, which means they're done with before this manages to do any more damage to you.
Okay, and I keep my spell up.
Lib uh, comes back after scouting a little bit ahead and tells you that the next place is like double fortified. Whoever had been at that last abandoned place, they all consolidated at the next one. And it seems that they've got a couple more of those Gatling guns up there. Um, they've set a pretty strong stand here. You get a feeling that this is going to be hard to come out of unscathed. Um, you succeed on your con, so you good, you maintain. And I need stealth check.
Okay.
So at advantage.
Yep. 17.
All right.
I look over to Lid. Do you want to put in some extra power for this one, or we try to sneak around?
I she yeah, they look pretty tough. Okay, she's gonna use Shatter Song and spending a 4th level spell slot. Uh, Let me. You hear you sing a discordant song infused with magical power. The vibrations begin to distort reality in a 10-foot radius centered on her. Creatures who choose an unattended object in the area take thunder damage, and they have to make strength saving throws. If they fail, they're knocked prone. Um, you can continue to strengthen it, increasing the radius. So you hear as Lib says that you look like you've taken a lot. She'll handle this one, and she sneaks like right in, and you lose track of her for a brief period of time until you hear this song. All right, and it starts to get louder and louder, and all of a sudden you see as people are like holding their ears and falling down onto their backs, and blood is just pouring out of their eyes and out of their ears until like they end up squeezing their heads to such a pressure that the veins are bulging in it, and you hear cracking sounds come from each of them, and they all just kind of slump and get still. Every once in a while, you saw her shadow kind of cast across like a wall, uh, and the sound kind of just following her, but with the stacks of crates and like the spotlights and the occasional flashing of guns. You don't see where she is at any given point until all of a sudden it's quiet. And then she standing on one of the boxes, and she goes to help pull you up on top of it. And you guys make your way open the barricade.
Okay.
See that they've similarly barricaded themselves at the last one with their remaining resources. This is a lot. She just spent as well a fourth level one to negate the damage on that last one, and it required that. Anything less, you would have just been reducing the damage.
Exactly.
Looking at this, it doesn't look like a fourth is going to be. This looks like twice as much as applied on it as what you saw in the last one.
Okay.
And it's the last. You wait a little bit, and the rest of the army kind of group catches up with you, and they post up on some of these boxes, and a couple of the people who you've kind of bumped into with their squads along the way, you recognize, and even though you've only seen them like 3 or 4 times over the last like hours pressed through this, it's relief to see them that they're still on the other side of this, and it's they let you know that they're going to handle this last stand march there. And if you two want to move on past and take the airship while they're doing that,
Right.
suggest that she could stay behind and help them, and they would lose less people.
Will there be anybody
Need the help.
else who's going to be able to help me take the airship, or?
Nope, it's just you versus, as far as what you heard Arthur say, it's just some guy named Toby and his wife.
Right. She takes a long look. I don't want us to lose people. I think I can do it by myself. Is that okay with you?
Thumbs up.
Okay.
The other guy seems relieved.
Okay.
And they've felt the difference of not of going through places that were clearly secured by somebody ahead of them.
Okay.
And they seem relieved by it.
Okay.
And you have an opportunity to sneak around.
Could I
And you can
ask
go ahead and give me
the healer to give me a little bit of a healing boost, and I drink my
yeah.
what is it? My aged goodberry wine.
Okay. You take, actually, the medic comes over to you, and they wrap some plain gauze around your arm, but it gets really cool underneath it as they do, and uh, and as it gets really kind of like almost like chilly like off of it, you can see a bit of mist come off of it, and you take uh, 14 points of healing.
Okay. And then I'm just going
And then I
to.
take the blood that kind of seeps into it, uh, also clears from off the bandage, and they unwrap it
Okay.
as it kind of goes back to a normal temperature.
Okay. Plus 14. 83. And I'm just gonna take one swig of my of my good berry wine. But there's a lot of words on here. So I don't know if I'm able to pop this up into chat. Damn it.
I think so.
Okay, let me just see. Good berry wine. Where the fuck did he go? Um, so I can use. Okay.
All right. Bottle of thick red wine is miraculously made from magical good berries and peonies using a closely kept family recipe. It tastes fruity and floral with notes of honey and the feeling of a fresh breeze and is deeply rejuvenating. The bottle comes with 1d4 plus 3 servings of the syrupy potion. Serving takes 1 minute to drink. Uh, so you're just taking one serving of this. Awesome. When you drink this wine, you regain hit points by spending any number of hit dice as if you finished a short rest. Also, you take as many servings as the hit dice you want to recover,
Okay.
taking a short rest.
Okay, so yeah, I'll just take one, and then I get an extra 1d4 to any wisdom or charisma ability checks or saving throws. So, good to
Yes.
know for future reference,
Nice.
actually.
Bless.
Okay, how the fuck? Uh, I'll just roll 1d8 plus 3 for my hit dice.
If you click the hit dice button up on your character sheet, it'll
I
just roll
thought
it.
so, but I'm just like, oh,
Or you could
that
just
one. Okay, I gotcha. Oh no, that says edit mix hit dice. Oh, right there, that one. Okay. Just roll 1. 7.
7.
All right,
Nice.
I'm up to max, and I got a 1d4 for stealth.
Nice.
All right, so then she just stealths ahead. I mean, she
All
goes
right.
the way around.
Uh, did you give me a stealth check yet?
That one was
Stealth
the
check.
one before. So okay, a new one.
And before we get into the Hanu fighting on the ship, would we be able to quickly do Babette?
Just a moment.
Okay.
Got it.
And
Stealth check.
all right. Yeah, so natural 20 on that. You hear as the sounds of gunshots pretty much become the only sound in this cavern for the next 30 minutes. It is loud. And you weave your way around this last little portion very slowly. And the fight nearly bleeds into your direction a couple of times, but you manage to keep yourself quiet until you're down, standing at the edge, right in front of a gangplank. And it boards across a windy chasm that goes down further than you can see. Gusts of wind blowing up from below, buoyantly on the other side of this plank. An airship. Practically almost galleon sized, like y'all's airship was. It doesn't look as nice, but it's a very big ship. It'll be able to hold a lot of people. And up on where the wheel is, you see a gnome on a very, very tall pair of iron shoes that kind of accordion up and down to various heights. And he's currently got it extended up high enough for him to hold onto the steering wheel. And down right in the middle of it, of the ship, is a very, very large machine. Looks like a warforged, but the size of an ogre. Massive. Very similar to what you've seen of the disassembled pieces of Kelly's invention. And you get the feeling that one's going to be a bit of a tough fight. And as you shore up your resolve, hearing the gunshots of a bunch of people fighting behind you, and the beating of your heart reminding you of the ticking clock of a time bomb, come right back to you.
All right.
Peeling back out away from that cavernous death of gunshots, rising up through the central hotel out into the plaza where panicked people have been gathered by Wisteria around the waterfall. She keeps them calm, waiting for a cue for them to evacuate when they hear it. And further up the street, past feet across bricks, as the blood spattered, white tuxedoed white wolf runs hasted upstairs and past, up miles of stairs ahead of him to the red grand doors of the House of Life. Where inside, a bomb unlike any other hums with an arcane ever present, ubiquitous, and directly at your back, Babette. Vibrating behind you. You can't see. You've been able to hear, and you've been listening. You know, there's probably a couple of tough people around you, and that link who have thrown you in. You briefly heard them when you first came back to consciousness, saying that it cost them extra to take a job against one of their own kind. That wasn't in the contract. Person agrees. There's a brief tense standoff. You can hear it as sounds like they're possibly about to kill them instead of taking the money anyways. And then they triple the money, and then they take it, and you hear footsteps echoing away. And something electric shocks behind your hands, and you tense, but you can't move. The whole thing's still humming, and someone goes, "Fuck, man! I hate it. This thing does not seem stable. Are you sure this thing is all right?" And you hear a chilling voice say, "Yes, I know it's all right. What do you take me for? Another one of you Vox amateurs."
Do I recognize the voice at all?
You don't.
Okay.
Sound familiar to you. Anyways, that's gonna be expected in the final stage of it. It's getting close to its nuclear meltdown. Sad I won't be around to see it, but I've got my paycheck and other business. Are you certain that this thing's gonna work as intended? What if something goes wrong? Hey, I'm not staying around until the last minute. I've been here until the last hour. That's all I got paid for. But, hey, best of luck to you. Wait, I have one more. And you hear a fuck. Damn it. I hate this job. Something gets kicked over. You get over the next like several minutes or so up to all of that, you've heard a lot. And you get the feeling that there were several people that they hired on as like experts for this. One of them was that changeling. You think whoever it was you just heard was probably their bomb builder.
Mm.
They all sound like hired, right? But they don't sound like they were answering to anybody here, right? These all seem to be lackeys, and as far as you tell, there's a general air of nervousness and intensity going on here. You picked up over this that these people are here to die with the bomb. Um, some of them might not feel so tense about that, so I'm going to have you go ahead and give either persuasion or deception as you try and turn this group's anxieties against them.
Uh, I think she'd probably go, like, her argument would be, it sounds like the people your superiors hired are definitely not confident about their work, and they're just trying to hide it from you. You know, and just kind of going on like, this isn't going to work. So I don't know why you are willing to die with a machine that's not going to work. Deception?
Yeah, give me deception.
No.
Rude. I don't have anything to fix that.
All right. Give me a second. I gotta roll. Oof. A 9.
Haha.
All right. Yeah, they're not. One of them is a little aggro on it, right? And he gets pretty aggressive about it. While another one, while he was pretty much hammering down, started to view that as not being very sure himself about this. And as he went to go do it, that person literally took his gun from him and went to go hold it against him and say, I'm getting out of here. And the guy said, "You're giving me my gun back." And as he said that, I need you to go ahead and give me a sleight of hand at advantage.
Thank God for advantage.
No. You managed to have up to this point gotten free of your binds, and you reach up behind him and pull his dagger right out of his belt, and it goes right up underneath his rib and into his lungs, and he loses his breath as he goes to try and finish that sentence. It's the other person who freaks out and goes to shoot at you, and ends up shooting into him instead. And I need you to go ahead and give me 3 attack rolls.
Oh, that nat one though.
All right.
Second that one.
I'm
I'm on my way.
All right.
Would you say she would have been sneaky sneak?
You take
Well, yeah,
15.
Swashbuckler.
Oh, if you'd done persuasion, sneak is the way you would have done this. They were all watching as this one happened.
Yeah, no, but
And
yeah, Swashbuckler. If there's no one in 5 feet, I get sneak.
oh yes,
So
yes,
Bucker's dead.
yes.
So I
Exactly.
take 15 points of
You take 15 points of piercing damage.
I'm
As
at 5
they all
hit
managed
points,
to
guys.
get 3 of them managed to get a couple of shots off on you, and
Uncanny
in that
dodge.
period of time, most of the rest of them riddling that initial guy's body with bullets instead, and as the final one gets skewered through with it, Zale, you burst in through those doors, hasted, having gotten a couple of preparations ready for a fight, and instead, you see as she drops the last body, a bullet-filled body, to the ground. Behind her, around her, you see about 24 corpses, and behind her, you see a scene that is about 20 by 20, made out of what appears to be adamantium rigging with some strange kind of clear piping that has this odd blue liquid chumming through it. It's giving off a humming and a lot of magic. This is, as far as you can tell, a combination of there seems to be alteration, as well as evocation and conjuration going on somewhere. Conjuration somewhere focused in the core. You see evocation kind of foaming through the that blue channels, and the hum that it's giving off is this strange alteration kind of hum. Also, you realize the hum actually isn't radiating out of it. The hum is actually going in towards it. Sound waves are being drawn in towards this machine right now. And so it sounds like it's humming as you get closer to it because it's drawing other sounds to it instead.
You Bobette.
You're
Like,
looking at.
Babette clutching her like midsection, just says, "So these idiots didn't know anything about it, but they hired out, and it's rigged to just hit a point and explode. I think."
and like the girl kind of just gets down and kind of like looks at it. Can
It
Zell
seemed unstable, so I would suggest being careful.
take a closer look at it, to see if there's any way to slow down this process? At least not stop it, but slow it
Go
down.
ahead and give me an Arcana check.
28.
Looking at this, you have no fucking clue. Idea. You don't even understand what the fuck this thing is. This a bomb? You have no idea. Arthur said it was a bomb. It seems very, very. I mean, there's a lot of magic involved in this, but it seems really oddly complicated for something that's supposed to just explode. Like, there's something you don't know what the fuck you're looking at right now.
But can I surmise
You
that
figure You see that as you watch it, you see a couple sparks come off from some loose areas around some of the pipes where the connections are, and it does look like there's some sort of unstableness going on with it, but you don't know whether that's intentional or not. You feel like the unstableness might have something to do with why it might be a bomb. But looking at it, it doesn't look like it itself is maybe meant to be one. All right.
What was the?
But this looks like it might have been something else, but might have been rigged or tampered with in such a way that it is about to explode. It's not a matter of disarming something that was built to be a bomb. It's about the fact that this thing is broken, and it was broken in just the right way to make it do probably some pretty devastating damage. You're right. Arthur is definitely right on that regard. The amount of power in this thing is going to be devastating.
Is there any way to fix it?
No, you have no clue. You barely understand what it is you're looking at right now. And you don't have enough time. You feel like if you really fucking wish that you had more time to look at this thing too. But the construction of it is astounding to you. This is unlike anything you've ever seen.
Yeah, so
Not like even precursors. More advanced than precursor technology.
just kind of look at Babette.
What maybe precursor technology would look like if it had never stopped.
So look at it's like Babette, and there's kind of like a wideness to his eyes, saying like, "Do you hear who fucking? Do you know who made this? You say he was here."
There was somebody. I didn't get a look at them. They sounded like probably somebody I could have worked with. And there was a changeling. That's the reason I'm fucking here. I have no idea what this is. This is way above anything I've encountered. I think we just need to figure out how to get this the fuck off this island.
Yep, and I have a plan for that. I need to lower this
Give
thing
me
back down.
an intelligence check with that, or investigation. Actually,
Me or Zale.
you can do the same as well. Both of you.
Why really was that? This is not the way. Number one.
You are way too caught up looking at this machine, and looking at this is a very sturdy lift. You're way too caught up with like, what, I maybe blow this thing up if we fucking mess with this thing. What happens if I collapse one of the sides of the lift before we collapse the other one? I don't know how to do that. And there's too many options and too much pressure, and they're rattling through your minds. So where you're just like, fuck it. We're probably just gonna have to like lower the lift, and it's slower that way, right? It's not gonna suddenly drop to the bottom or anything, so it's gonna eat up a little bit of your time. But as long as it's like not inside of this building, even if it's part of the way down, as long as it's in that cave area when this place starts to tilt, you're fine. You just don't know. You know that any minute now, Arthur's about to blow up one of these side buildings.
Yeah, so I'm like,
those side buildings. The whole thing is about to start to tilt.
pushing the making the lift go down. I don't know how it's gonna work, but we gotta get the lift down now. And basically,
if you flip for that, you see as it starts to lower on it. Do you want to take the lift down, or do you want to take the street back towards the refugees? Do you want to meet up with the soldiers in Hanu, or do you want to go meet up with Wisteria and the refugees?
I kind of looked at Babette, and she looked.
You're also supposed to be looking for
the Griffin.
Griffin Master. So go ahead and give me a perception check. You did not hear anybody else when you've been here, by the way. As far as as another captain. I assume Zale would have mentioned that
Yeah, so
as
advantage
well.
Yeah. So should I make that
and-
perception as well?
or advantage. The
Uh, it is advantage because it's only one of
20.
you, but you're both.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the 20. Oh, God.
Okay. You do manage to see one of the people that you had assumed was a body is actually another person bound, and they do identify themselves as the Griffin Master. They're a human, and they're like late 30s, mutton chops, kind of auburn hair, sturdy of build and stuff. They look like they got roughed up and a bloody, kind of swollen lip. But they seem, determined, and they say that they can definitely get the Griffins to help, and that with that they could get probably the other half of the people off this island. You might be able to save everybody. And as he rushes out to go to the Nookery to get the Griffins back, and you make your way out towards where the refugees are. Are you staying to help with refugees, or are you going down the lift, rather?
I want to know if Zale has any kind of healing. Because that
has a
means
good berry.
10 good
What a good
berries.
berry.
Fuck yeah.
I can
Yeah.
get back up at 15 hit points. I'm going to probably not join combat.
Yeah.
I'm going to take those 10 good berries
Yeah. So
for that healing,
taking
and
the
I'm
lift,
going to go up.
taking the lift of being in combat, right? And then basically, if she goes on the street, she'll be fine. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so they'll like, I'll take the lift. You go up there. It's safer.
Do you have anything to make me not die?
Gives you 10 good berries.
Thanks. She shoves them in her mouth and fucking leaves.
And Belle gets on the lift with the bomb.
All right. As you're lowering down from it, you see it's really dark underneath you, and you can see far off ahead in the direction of where that open cave mouth is. That there seems to be a pretty intense battle going on. It's not as far from you as where Hanu had started from her stuff. But there's a pretty decent swath of darkness between you and it. You don't have time to hide, and there doesn't seem to be much of a fight left on this portion, anyways. There's smoldering smoke, and there's bodies, and you quickly leap off onto one of those boxes. And as you're making your way there, I need you to make me. It is 2 acrobatics checks.
Advantage. Why do you need advantage?
Right.
25, 26.
Oh shit, I can mimic those voices that I.
Alright, yeah, no. You're hasted and leaping across the tops of these boxes with quick speed. And by the time you're getting to the rest of this fight, I need you to go ahead and give me check. Okay, if you get that one and that one, so that would be okay. I need you to make 6 of these attack rolls.
6 attack rolls. Alright. Natural
Yes,
20.
6 attack rolls.
10, 10, 20, 4. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Natural 20 on the first one, though.
Jesus, though. This fight is in the middle of it, and you can see the airship on the other side, and you can hear the sound of a fight. There's something going on over there. You know it. You know that Hanu is there because you come across Libby at some point, and she's pretty injured. But she says that Hanu went to go take the airship, and you through that, in the middle of this last stand war, take 28 piercing damage from the various bullet wounds that you end up taking along the way. And one of those was a fire brigade, so that means you take 11 points of fire damage.
Assisted, so it'll be half. So
Yeah.
34. And because I'm just curious, I could, and one of those attack rolls, like, could I use a spell slot?
For one of them,
Hmm.
yeah, I'll let you do it for one of them post on it, yeah.
Yeah, I will burn one of my slow sloth off.
Okay. What level spell slot are you running? Second. Okay. So that would have made a second. All right. That would make it to where you took 24 piercing.
30. Gotcha.
While you're cutting your way through that, getting ever closer to that light at the end of this vast tunnel of bloody battle, Anu,
Yep.
on the deck of a ship,
Exactly.
facing off against a boom artificer and their strange contraption. Seems to be his crazy wife.
Exactly. Yeah, she was thinking, is that his
You
wife?
see the acronym of WIFE with periods in between on the robot,
Mm-hmm.
and it suddenly clicks a little bit more. Now, what spells do you have on this available?
Okay. The only spells that I've used were second and third levels. She's going to burn a fourth.
All right.
She's going to upcast spiritual weapon.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, spiritual weapon makes an attack roll, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Since
So go ahead.
am I technically stealthing right now? Can I make this one at advantage?
Not in this particular case. They hear this huge battle going there. They know what they're getting ready to defend for.
Alright.
They're in full sentry mode. There's no way to approach an airship hanging off the side of it stealthily. You have to just get on it.
Alrighty.
So you go into this stealing yourself like a warrior getting ready for the fight on this, and looked at them and judged them wanting. As far as skill goes.
Gotcha. She will take the dodge action and then upcast spiritual weapon. And
okay. Go ahead and have spiritual weapon make it is 6 attack rolls.
Okay, so oh shit. I would be having to constantly just roll it. So should I just do a d20 instead? Plus do it.
Oh, yeah, because it's a spell.
Yeah, because it would
it's,
constantly do that.
yeah, just click the D20 in the box 5 times.
Yeah, okay.
Then plus 10. And I could easily add it up. Just make sure to click the advantage as well.
Oh, I don't think I got advantage.
No, you don't.
No, yeah, be sure.
Alright, so should I just do 5d20 plus 10?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Your bonus.
Yeah. And that will be
Ooh, there's
Oh,
two nat
fuck.
ones in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't do anything about that.
so 24. There's 23, 18, and 19, and then two nat ones. 11, 11. So the other rolls are high, but
A 1, a 1, an 8, a 9, and a 13.
Yeah, I can't really do too much about that because I don't have channel divinities.
yeah.
Unless I had taken a short rest at the bar.
Yeah. Also, it's plus 10 on those 13, 18, 9. So they're 18, 19, and
Yeah,
23.
so
Yeah.
that depends. Did I take a short rest at the bar?
Yes.
Then I will have one channel divinity back, and I'll try to re-roll one of those those things.
Those ones. Yeah, so
Yeah.
roll d20 plus 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get rid of one of those ones.
Oh shit. All right, whatever. I'm gonna just roll that. Plus 10. Better than
17.
whatever.
It's better than 1. Better than 1.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, she's bobbing and weaving. Hopefully that does something, but don't know.
Technically, you take the dodge action as you attack with your spiritual weapon,
Yeah,
right?
I can take the dodge action because it's a bonus
It's a
action.
bonus action. Yeah.
All right. So that's gonna make it to where on those got canceled out. And on the other one, they managed to do a pretty serious amount of damage. So I'm gonna go ahead and have you roll for that damage on it. If you could just click that 4 times.
The crit. The crits are amazing. 900
Why
damage.
the fuck are the crits like that?
It's amazing. But that's a lot of damage. Holy. It's
I don't
55
know.
on that last one.
The problem is it's having the bug Foundry has.
Yeah.
Look at all the guy on all of them.
1 into 55, though. That's just normal roll. The 98 plus 5.
All right.
That's a lot of damage.
Oh, for 9,000!
Going at it, man. Honey, how much? So you were back at full before you got there, right?
Yeah, she's 90. Yeah, since I didn't heal anybody, I don't get any temp hit points.
All right.
I was trying to make his way, man. He's trying to make his way.
That's why she's she's dodging, because she knows, like, at least I can hopefully wait it out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Sells a freaking silver bullet right now and cutting through people to get to Hanu.
Because she's like, if Libby's back there and helping them survive.
All right. So you take 40 points of fire damage,
Okay.
and you take 14 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
That robot is pretty much just a charging machine. It just bulldozes, right? It's fairly easy to avoid, actually. But it does this stampede thing across the deck of it, back and forth, while from across the top of it, this surprisingly agile gnome keeps like springing from these spring-loaded boots, right, up to various vantage points on the sails and from one side to the other, throwing Molotov cocktails the entire time. you are getting rained down on fire while constantly having to keep back and forth on your toes, and as a result, your thing is mostly kept fighting against his wife.
Okay.
And but to finally end up at one point in time appearing like just as that thing had been getting ready to stampede you, right? It instead skewered itself onto your spiritual weapon. As you struck that final blow into it, there's this spark of electricity out of its back, and up on one of the masts, Toby, like, yells a frustrated, "No! My wife!" And as it's doing that, you had actually maneuvered your way up, having done enough training with Maya, running up sails and seeing how high you could get. You managed to get to the low height that he's on that first sail rung. I get nothing while he's in shock underneath that. You deal the final blow from him from behind. Dale, when you arrive on the deck a couple of minutes later, it's literally about 3 minutes after this, come running up on the deck, you see like a broken robot of some sorts laying on the ground, the dead body of a gnome nearby it, and Hanu up near the helm.
Look at
You guys have
Hanu.
that, and the soldiers are already piling through onto the deck of the ship, right? You guys don't really even waste any time on it. As soon as everybody's on the top of it, that same lieutenant that you had been nodding to before it, you don't see them. Instead, someone else ends up acknowledging you guys and letting you know that everybody's there. Somebody else having stepped up to take that role, and the numbers are far less than it had been. You'd gone down there with 65 people. There are currently 20 guards on this boat with you all. As it rises up to meet the street level and come around to the mountainside where all the refugees are currently kept. As you come up to the street level, you're on the opposite side from where the mountain is, and you can see as many of them are already getting into rowboats, being held aloft by the invisible griffins. There are a good 100 of these boats being held aloft outside of that plaza. And as soon as your boat comes up from the other side, somebody on the top mast like waves a flag, a big just blue ribbon, and somebody looks off over to the other side and they see it, and there's another ribbon waved off of a rooftop, and you watch as the guards leap off from the other side onto the street level, carrying a plank with them, laying it across to the other side, and you see as Wisteria begins to escort all the people down to the other end of it. You have a whole row of these people just being filtered off onto the airship on one side, and then
that's in charge of the griffins on the other.
Onto these griffin perches. They is a few tense moments. It takes about 20 minutes of this. And there's fear, sobbing, such a mixture of emotions, denial and confusion, all just in this trail of numbness as people file out.
I'll look over to Asteria and pull out my pan flute. Want to play a tune? Try to at least soothe their nerves.
Kicks off her clasp on her guitar case.
Alright.
See as it opens up, there's inside actually a rather small guitar for the very large guitar case that's in it, mostly surrounded by a bunch of padding. She pulls out the guitar out of it and see as she starts playing, and she kind of walks down along the line and stuff, and she sings a song in Avalian Elvish. And a few people recognize her and point her out and stuff. There's a few like little moments of like excitement as some people get distracted from their brief thing by the fact that, oh my god, that's fucking famous rock star walking along with us right now. We're not gonna die. Famous people don't die. And there's that weird
If
hope
Babette
and
sees
confusion
this, she'll join with her flute.
dwindles out for a little bit, and the two of you kind of help guide people with music.
Mm-hmm.
Would Babette be able to join
Different
in
elements
on this?
of sound to this otherwise stark and quiet texture of noise around you. And as soon as the sound comes, you really just know that you can't stop playing now, because that silence that would come afterwards would just be too much. And you're caught up doing this. Go ahead and give me a performance check with advantage.
Okay, I mean, I'm gonna 1d4 guidance, but also, Babette was asking if she can join in, if she's nearby.
You heard that? That was I think asking Babette to do the performance.
Oh, Babette to do a performance? Whomst?
Who's to do?
I'm accompanying people, so if Babette wants to go, you probably have better performance than I do.
Yeah, internet
course,
hates me
advantage.
specifically. I don't know why.
Oh no.
What person?
Yeah.
Do you want
Babette.
Babette or Hanu to make the check? Because Babette would also like to join in on this playing if she loses it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you were there tied up with them for the entire time they were pulling off these 2 hours of a mission. So you heard them for 2 hours before that last final conversation when the person wrapped up their stuff. So yeah, you heard them plenty.
Yeah. So I'd be able to join in on the music playing and make a performance check.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
I'll give you guidance too. So you go make advantage and add it to 1d4 if you're.
Let's do 4,
Yeah,
28.
28. You two
Alright.
probably know the song, so I'm just
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
the accompanying, putting some little Coterie Coast flair to it.
Oh my god, Mike.
So you guys help ease the tension here, and
So we'll be looking for
when
Arthur.
it's down to like some of the last people, there's only about a dozen or so left. Arthur still isn't back yet. The time hasn't hit there yet, so you guys are still on time. You didn't get set back by any of your things. Setbacks on your time would have only happened if you had enough failures.
Okay, cool.
You guys
Okay.
succeeded your stuff more than you failed it, so
I think the only failure was my
you,
one.
and so you're still just trying to get as many people off before that very final hour comes, and you know if you're within the last like 30 minutes or so, right? And you, Babette, know that it's within the last hour of it exploding because that guy said that he wasn't going to be here for the last hour, right? He was like staying up until like the last hour, and then I'm out. So the last hour is fast approaching, and just as like you're see like there's only about a dozen or so people left now, a couple of dozen, waiting to be able to get onto some of the Griffin perches, all right, and onto the airship. When all of a sudden you hear it. And you watch as two of the houses suddenly collapse underneath their own weight of debris, and smoke spills down the street into y'all's directions, and you briefly can't see any of the people that had been on their way waiting to be on the last tickets, essentially. And just as it happens, all of a sudden the whole thing just drops off of one end.
I tell whoever's at the helm to lower it immediately. To try to catch those last people.
They were waiting for.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah. You have currently about 400 people on that airship. They're literally elbow to elbow on this thing at the moment, and the last of the other people were getting onto essentially rowboats that hold 6 people at a time. They're like lifeboats, right? So there's not like any way of speeding that up, and you guys are moving as fast as you can. There's about a couple of dozen people that were still left on the street, making their way down towards the airship and waiting for the plaza. And this whole place has suddenly collapsed off of one side. And as you see the whole thing beginning to tilt, since Babette and Hanu were helping Wisteria guide people with music, I need you guys to make me dexterity saving throws.
Okay.
Oh, thank God. That could have been much worse. Oh no, honey.
Alright, wait, Hanu, you were actually on the boat because you had to be at the helm.
Yeah.
Because you're the only one.
So I don't know. I'm just playing music.
Fucking,
Don't
right?
mind me, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like the last chain of this song, you know.
Okay, I got you.
The discordant sub melody on the boat being guided to, and they kind of were hearing that a little bit further down the street, and a little bit further down the street, and a little bit further. You kept it up over there at the helm, and all of a sudden everything, and you grab the helm, and I actually need you to give me a and this thing just roll insight.
Okay.
I don't know if you have your navigation things or your water vehicle thing set up on there.
Knowing
Yeah.
that I probably would be doing that, and I had like an hour left of this, right?
Yes, you did.
I would be. I have the jacket on always, so I would have been switching that on and tuning to that after taking the ring off, since I wasn't healing. So yeah, I will insight the fuck out of that. I would enhance ability and insight myself. So,
all right.
That's like an advantage. I don't know where these are. Yeah. Shit.
Good roll.
All right. So you managed to wheel this thing away from it before it starts to fall down on your side, right? And it would have pendulum swing knocked this thing out of the way, but you instead pull it off from the side, and the plank falls underneath it. You watch as one of the people that had been walking across it begins to fall on it, but somebody reaches and grabs them and pulls them up instead, and you are off. You see as this is happening, though, people are suddenly sliding right off the side of it, and 2 of them go plummeting off, sliding right off the side of this mountain that's tilted now, and into the misty ocean below.
Yeah, I will try to catch them.
As you see that happening, you realize that a lot of people are about to come plummeting down. But you figure you have that flashback moment of remembering your relative catching you out of trees using a watery sphere when you would fall. And
also the experience of that happening just recently when their airship exploded.
So, with that, you manage to summon that watery sphere, and now there is about to be. We managed to get to. Okay. 6 groups set. All right. You watch as like a whole like handful of them go tumbling off the side of it, and you went and cast this thing immediately, drawing within that like that Genasi power within you. And as this watery sphere like appears in the middle of your deck, kind of like when you'd been playing Maelstrom that first time, those people into it based off of that first check that you made there, right? And you managed to catch them inside of it. So people help pull them out of it. And you see that more groups of these people are about to get ready to lose their grip and fall. Now, I did get that deck save from Babette. That was a
17.
17. All right. And I need one. I need one from Dale.
So?
Yes. Unless you were on the boat.
Yeah, in case
I was on the boat.
In case
Yeah, no, because he wants to bite.
Okay, well then you're fine. There's nothing. Then there's nothing for you anymore.
Yeah. In case it made any difference, I still have the 1d4 from the wine. I thought it was an hour, but 23 for the maneuvering, if that helps try to shepherd people over.
No, because it's going to be another check each time a group of people falls. That was enough to catch the group right there, and we'll see what happens with the next one. But
she can add that.
We should keep it in mind.
I'm going to keep that in mind. So
the next ones.
Gotcha.
All right, Babette. Well, you managed to like when the whole thing tilts, you adjust to like the new down like it's nothing, right? And you were walking along the side of a building in one of these alleys, and you can see a couple of people holding on to like the ledge off the side of one of these other things, and you've got an opportunity to be able to try and help some of these people up before these groups start going out, right? You kind of survey around. I need you to go ahead and give me an perception check.
Okay.
Nice, awesome. With that, you managed to, of the 5 that are left, notice all 5 of the groups of people. It's almost like for a brief moment from your new vantage point, you look across and you can see hanging off the side of this alleyway over here a group of people that are trying to like help pull a friend up. You can see off of another side that there is someone holding desperately onto a bed sheet that is being torn down the center by a shard of glass as they seem to have tumbled out of a window and are now swaying out in this open breeze. And like this brief moment of taking in like these several groups of people and their various plights, you have lightning fire moment of being able to try and figure out, okay, how am I going to get to all of these people? And
basically her whole thing is she's going to almost like nonchalantly stroll up and just kind of like collect everybody and like start to actually put them into groups. Especially having seen Hanu and the rest of the group deal with an airship or shit in the sky falling. she's just gonna be like, okay, we're gonna go in small groups. Everyone jump off. I believe in you. Like, use that persuasion and get them to kind of jump off in small groups to be caught by the watery sphere.
All right. Go ahead and give me a I need you to give me.
I'm gonna name drop as well. This is the group that survived the airship crash. This is the group that has done all of these cool things. Like, she's gonna do everything she can to just get people to fucking listen to her.
I need first an acrobatics check.
20.
Hey,
Let's go.
she's nonchalant
All
as fuck.
Now I need you to give me a persuasion check. You can give me it with advantage as you name drop.
Hell yeah.
Now I need you to give me another one with advantage.
20.
All right.
Hey,
I need you to give me another one with advantage.
26.
All right.
hey.
I need you to give me another one with advantage.
26.
All right. Now you managed to get all of these groups of people together. All right. Like this whole group of actually I need one more.
21.
Thank God that was an
All right, yeah, no, you're good. Yes. And so you managed to get this whole group of people together. There's about a total of 20-something people here now. The last people that have gathered on this. And you're standing off of the edge of this thing, and you're like convincing them that they're going to have to jump at the same time, right? Because if any of them jump after you say jump, then they're going to not hit what they were being told to land in, right? So I need you to give me one last persuasion check. This one is just flat. Fucking somebody off a ledge is not.
Oh my God. That could have
Okay.
been
All right.
horrendous.
Good thing it wasn't a disadvantage.
I know. Woo-hoo.
All right. So yeah, you managed to convince each of them up to this point, and so there hadn't been any people that hadn't trusted you up to this. So there was no like no's to help build into a louder cacophony of no's, and so everybody here trusts you now, and you know they're going to jump at the same time. Now I need you to make me an insight check. And you can go ahead and make it with advantage.
The question I have.
As you've seen her circling around, gather them into each of the place.
All right.
At any point, I just want to say before this happens, if at any point I feel like they would, or the ship and Honey would have been at 120 feet away, I would have cast message and kind of let her know what's going on. Also, in a way to calm down the people.
All right. Yep. Am I able to use my burb with this, or is it just pure Hanu?
Just pure you.
Gotcha.
27. And also just a question
Yeah,
real quick. Where's Wisteria?
She's chilling with.
Yeah,
she's.
Right?
I thought she was she with Babette?
She's with Babette.
Fuck.
Because she was playing music and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you're ready to leap out into this water with the rest of this group of people that you can see gathered on literally the side of this building. And as they all go kind of running up the incline of it for a brief moment before pushing off away from it, you swing around at just that same time, and the timing and the confidence between both sides of these line up, and you watch as they all into this watery sphere of yours. You're looking around. You're still not seeing Arthur yet. And you can go ahead and give me a perception check, Hanu, if you would like. Alright, say all you can do as well.
That distills with the enhanced ability, so
24.
21.
Oh, you both see him. He
With
is running, literally sliding down this incline. He every once in a while hits one of these like roof areas where it's kind of like comes at a side angle, and then he just pops up it and runs a little bit more, and you can see where he's heading to, which is one of these statues that's actually really, really tall, but he looks like he's getting ready to slide down towards its back and leap off of the perch of this thing. Go ahead and give me a another insight.
okay.
Advantage or
Yeah,
non-advantage?
I have Owl's insight on me for
Yeah.
enhanced ability, so
Oh,
and
nice.
then I have
okay.
my drink, so
There you go. 23.
so that's why I'm able to do both things at once instead of concentrating on like guidance and shit. So.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right.
23.
So there you go. You come right around the side of it just as behind each one of the houses obliterates. And the whole thing that had just been at an incline off of one side, the whole back end goes tilting in the other direction, and Arthur begins to slide down the other way. And you watch as like the last couple of inches of it literally becomes like this like impossible strain going in the opposite direction before he kicks off from it and hits right into your watery sphere just as you go coasting across the side of it. The watery sphere collapses and ends, and he lands on the deck with all the mules of fucking people that are like crying out in shock as like the whole place suddenly starts to fall.
We see the
I
bomb go
assumed
out.
Babette and Wisteria also.
You haven't heard the big bomb go off yet?
Do we see it?
You've just seen all of the houses suddenly explode.
Mm.
And the island is dropping now, right? So as each of the 7 buildings suddenly explode, well, 5 of them all explode. Well, 6 because the central one explodes too. So 6 of the buildings all explode, other than the 2 that you blew up beforehand. And as the rest of them blow up, the whole thing levels out and starts to drop down towards the water below. You've already dropped the bomb out the side of the cave when you tilted it, and it landed somewhere in the lake, but it still hasn't gone off. And as your airship coasts between all of these other like rowboats being held aloft by invisible creatures, what were you asking for that?
I just wanted to make sure that Babette and Wisteria made it off the fucking island.
Yeah, they're on there.
Okay, good.
Yes. You all landed in the
Sphere.
sphere.
If I felt the sphere like kind of shaking off because of spell duration, I would have used control water to try to at least amplify it. I don't know if I could flavor that as it.
We caught everybody we can.
It's everybody's gone off of it. You already caught everybody
Yeah,
off.
I'm saying like
this
if
thing.
it didn't, then I
The
would.
last several clusters of people, and now it's about putting distance between you and this thing as it plummets into the water behind you, and your airship ends up coasting in between. You can see it's like a big old boat flying through the sky, and from a distance, all of the other rowboats around it might look like a flock of birds. And as that giant island suddenly hits the waters below, it's surprisingly quieter than you expected.
Zell is
somewhere in the
Zell is-
distance.
Zell is warning people.
Behind you. People are looking off the side. And you feel it first. A tightness in your stomach. Knot forming. The water underneath you turns to mist. And in that moment, it's nothing but the lanterns on your ship, a few bobbing on the rowboats about 50 or so feet to your left or right. Like nothing but dim lanterns and a foggy sea as you sail ahead back to Hearthline. We're in the city. It's just reaching dusk. Another beautiful dusk in Hearthline. Oranges and purples fading away to a dark night sky. And the sound in everybody's ears of sudden popping pressure. It rains. 10 seconds later. Dark storm clouds where there hadn't been any before.
Honey will.
Waves crash against the shore. Darman, cooking a meal, looks up through his window. You can see past your little stuffed animal dog with a chef hat. A dark, swirling storm cloud row out over the lake. And rain suddenly patters against the glass. And there's the sound of a doorbell ringing. And you hear Thea saying, "I got it!" And the door opens. And you hear a familiar voice saying, "So I heard that a couple of friends of ours were staying here in town. This is Rosemarie's place, huh?" As Kelly ends into the doorway. And that's where we'll pick up next week, guys.
Hell yeah.
Oh man!
I will say, as the storm cloud happened, I would actually ask Libby to accompany me in some celestial thing of just kind of Takaroa's song, but that's kind of what we did on Glue there.
And Zell would actually have found Wisteria, and make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
Don't kill people.
Afterwards,
Don't kill people, guys.
Afterwards, I would have done this to you right as you got onto the ship. I would have thrown you the boots that this gnome wore and said, "Here's your wedding present."
No, you should have thrown a chunk of the metal. Zell would have liked that more.
And I was like, I mean, you can
just throw a bit of life at him. He would have enjoyed it.
Listen, that whole metal thing is for Kelly. This is gonna be.
That's
So
yeah,
Zell kind of took that, but you definitely saw Zell kind of zone out. He kind of took it and kind of went like, "Thanks," and kind of zone out.
Yeah, that's why I threw it at you. Here.
Bebe is likely going to walk up to Arthur and just kind of like give him like a light slap on the face and be like, "I hate myself for falling for that," and then just walk away.
All right.
He feels guilty as shit for having left you. At
Yeah.
the same time, he also tactically knew that, like, where you were was probably a place that, you know,
So
time.
I know, but she like it's gonna be a little bit of a I can't believe I fucking just fell into a routine with you. I barely fucking know you. What am I, getting lazy? And she's gonna be so annoyed at Arthur,
yeah,
but it's gonna be actually at herself. So
that's kind of what she had mentioned to
Trust
Arthur.
them.
It's we can't really
Trust
foresee
Arthur.
that.
That's what that fucking means, though.
But yeah, that's what she kind of told Arthur. Is like, we really couldn't have foreseen a lot of this stuff. Don't kick yourself over it. We can only try to control what happens now. So I'm like, let's go.
you know, Babette specifically is like, I get paid to do exactly what this person fucking did to me.
Damn.
Why the did I not notice it? She is so mad at herself.
I'm so great at my job, I got fooled by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know,
Damn it.
tense situation,
Yeah.
and can sometimes